From the darkest corners of the creepy old house down the street to the screams in the night. Settle in, Parafamily, to join with Whitney and Brandon for another spooky episode of the Para-Unity Podcast.
Hey everyone, welcome back to the Para-Unity Podcast. I'm your homegirl Whitney. Welcome back, Para family. I hope everybody in the Americas had a really good Thanksgiving Day holiday, and I hope also that all of our international viewers have been enjoying whatever they celebrate in the wintertime. I know we have lots of major holidays coming up in December, so from all of us to all of you, Hanukkah, Christmas, Yule, Kwanzaa, and of course tonight's favorite holiday, very spooky indeed. Tonight is Krampusnacht, when we all have to make sure that there is just as much evil out in the world as there is good when it comes to the holiday seasons. So watch out, my friends. Make sure that everybody has been very naughty or very nice this year. I really hope nobody gets visited by Krampus. But if you do, and you survive, you need to come on the show and tell us about it. That would be awesome. Anyway, so Brandon is someplace in the ether tonight, but he will be back with us for our final recording of the season before we go on break before the holidays. But tonight, we do have a full house. I am here tonight with some of my homeboys from my neck of the woods in Virginia. I have Ray Savino, who is the head of RTL Paranormal and of Flumery Productions, and he's brought along three amazing young men, Austin, AG, and Jacob from Forgotten Explorations. And hello to everybody in the chat. So right up, Ray, there you are. Just plug it away in the chat. Hello, sir. And Betsy, friend of the show, good to see you as well. Feel free to plug in any questions you may have as we go through the episode tonight. And off we go. So first, I want to tell you a little bit about where this quartet of very handsome gentlemen come from. God, I'm a lucky girl tonight. Shh, don't tell my husband. Anyway, so tonight, the guys of Forgotten Explorations are also members of RTL Paranormal and of Flumery Productions as well. So tonight we've had on the show a couple of times before where we see a lot of groups just forming together to become family. And Parafamily, here we are here again too. So I hope you all have fun tonight. So first, let's talk about the Forgotten Explorations crew. They are based out of Hampton, Virginia, which is the 7th most populated city in Virginia, with over 137,000 people as of the 2020 census. So Hampton is part of where I come from originally, with Virginia Beach, Norfolk, Hampton, Newport News, Williamsburg. It's all part of the same general area called Hampton Roads, and it's a very old area. The history even dates back before English settlers came, especially with the Powhatan Confederacy settling in that area way before the English got there. But 400 years ago, Admiral Christopher Newport established Point Comfort, which is now known as Old Point Comfort, back in 1606 as a strategic location at the confluence of three major rivers, the Elizabeth River, Nansemond River, and the James River. So the other notoriety about Hampton, too, is in August of 1619, the White Lion, a privateer ship sailing under the Dutch, arrived with the first recorded group of 20 enslaved Africans from Angola. Now, for a very long time, Hampton has been a place of military significance. It is very close to the huge naval base in Norfolk, Virginia. It is also very close to Langley Air Force Base, also in Hampton. So is it any wonder that they have a very large stone fort? So after the War of 1812, a permanent stone fortification was built at the old Point Comfort location and named Fort Monroe after President James Monroe. It is the largest stone fort in the United States, and it remained an active Army base until it was decommissioned in 2011. It's just an incredible location too. We'll get more into Fort Monroe and some of the other stuff with that in a little bit. There are other artistic and historical venues in Hampton, such as the Hampton Coliseum, which is a huge concert and entertainment space. It's where they've had the WWF and the WWE performing. It's also where they've had some amazing concerts, including the Grateful Dead, and one of the last concerts I saw of the Eagles. Great show. So Hampton Coliseum's cool too. There's also Hampton University, which was established after the American Civil War to provide higher education for the newly freed enslaved and for the area's native population. And one of my favorite museums there is the Virginia Air and Space Center. It's where I actually tasted freeze-dried ice cream for the very first time. There's also a place called the Casemate Museum, which was where Jefferson Davis, the president of the Confederacy, was imprisoned after the Civil War. So with all that going on in Hampton, it's definitely haunted. And I can definitely tell you that perhaps the biggest and most haunted location is Fort Monroe. You don't have a massive stone fort that has seen so much action and so much life and so much extreme decisions being made without something being left behind. The stone fort has been there since 1834, but activity has been going on that site since the 1600s. And the activity there, paranormal activity, runs the gamut from apparitions, including that of a white lady walking around, disembodied voices, ghost cats, which is pretty cool, and the sound of hoofbeats running around. That's just the beginning. And maybe the guys at Forgotten Explorations and also Ray himself can tell us a little more about that. Another site is the Chamberlain. It was once a historic hotel that welcomed the likes of George Washington. Today, it has been renovated and is now being used as a senior living facility. The top floor of the Chamberlain, according to rumor, is closed because of the many apparitions that freely roam there. One story about this building tells of a fire where at one time it claimed the life of a teenage girl. She had been looking for her father, not realizing that he had already escaped the fire. He had already gotten out of the building. And her ghost is said to be spotted near where she passed away on the 7th floor, banging on the walls or peering through the window. Ooh, I like that. And I actually remember when the Chamberlain used to be open to the public like that, but never got a chance to get in, but maybe the guys can tell us more. But I think another location that's close to all these guys' hearts, especially Ray is from Williamsburg, Virginia, just a hop, skip, and a jump away from Hampton. Williamsburg, if you want history in Virginia, you come to Williamsburg. It was the capital of the colony of Virginia from 1699 to 1780 during the key years of the American Revolution. Now, Williamsburg predates that. It started out as a fortified settlement called Middle Plantation in 1632, and it was established between the James and the York Rivers. And of course, just like Hampton, it was also part of the Powhatan Confederacy settlements. So much going on there. Now, what really made Williamsburg start to grow more is the establishment of the College of William and Mary in 1693. And if you want hauntings, Oh boy, I could give you hauntings about Williamsburg. I myself have lived there. I used to give tours there. Williamsburg is in my blood. The whole historic area, if you ever go there, there is something that's been left behind. One of the most haunted houses in the historic area of Williamsburg is the Peyton Randolph House. Yeah, that's a fun one. Peyton Randolph was a gentleman who served as the Speaker of the House of Burgesses during the beginning of the American Revolution. He went to Philadelphia for the First Continental Congress in 1775, and some say he probably could have done more if he had lived past 1775, but he didn't. The house itself is right there, and it's massive right behind the courthouse area. And it is absolutely gorgeous, but it's known for having some pretty iffy hauntings, if you know what I mean. There is an old story of an old woman who appears in the back bedchamber of an oak paneled bedroom, and she basically stands there and stares at you with gaping socket eyes. It is a very old story. It's a creepy building. But you know what? I say let's get away from the hauntings. And wow, the chat is just full of life tonight. Hello, Jacob W. And hello to Pat Sickles Barker, a good friend of ours, and a good friend and a member of RTL Paranormal. And hello to Mario. Good to see you. Christy Ayers. Let's see. I don't know about a link to community standards or if it's just you. You should be fine. Let us know if you have any more issues. Jacob Wheeler again, and Rachel Bradley, also a member of RTL. I think we've got a full house tonight, so let's bring on the boys. My dear para family, let's bring on Ray Savino. Let's bring on AG. And let's bring on Austin and Jacob. Hi, guys. Welcome to the show.
Howdy, howdy.
Hey, everybody.
Hello. How are you?
Yeah, Ray, we're on camera. Okay, everybody found that very entertaining. Guys, welcome. It's so
Thank
good
you.
to have
Thank you.
here. Thank you, Austin. These young men are so polite. Ray?
My pair of boys.
Yes, they are. And truly a pair of family. I know, since I've known Ray, how long have I known you? It's been about maybe 3 or 4 years now.
Since I was about 2 months old.
Yeah, pretty much. It feels like an eternity.
Hold on. I'm at a very excluded area. Hold on. Bartender.
Christy says it would have been better. Christy says it would have been better if you had spit it out when you came on.
I'm not a spitter.
Okay. Wow. So much to unpack there. But Ray, I mean, you meant these are your pair of boys, your pair of sons. I know how much family means to you, so let's just cut right into it. How did you establish this amazing pair of family?
Well, 2009, it started out with RTL Paranormal. It started out with 2 people, me and Tim Hoover. And then we started adding people. By 2011, we probably had 11 to 13 people in the group. And we just did it like every other paranormal group. We emailed people left and right. I was probably in the beginning averaging like maybe 50 to 100 emails a week to get that 1 or 2 people to respond back. And it just kind of gradually went from there. We learned as we went. We asked a lot of questions to the people that we respected in the paranormal field. Asked a lot of questions because that's how you learn to hone in on your craft, so to speak. So from there, we were doing a lot of private homes, and then we decided that we were going to give thanks to everybody that allowed us to go into their homes and their businesses and learn our craft and do the best we can to help them. So we decided to start doing public ghost hunting events. And that's kind of like how it started, where I found out how much I really enjoy doing events, because you're showing people what you love about the investigating. And then on top of that, you're also teaching them what you've learned already. So, plus I don't know, I guess I'm getting old getting soft, more and more soft as I get old, but the smiles in everybody's faces and the comments that everybody messaged me with about how much they enjoyed them, it felt really nice to be contributing back to the community. And then we decided we were going to liven it up almost 3 years ago. So we decided to get the cast from A&E's Ghost Hunters to do 2 events for us, the Beacon Theater and the Exchange Hotel Civil War Medical Museum, which is in Gordonsville, and Beacon is in Hopewell, Virginia. Mm-hmm. So from there, the cast from the TV show enjoyed how we ran stuff. So I was asked to be a talent manager for most of them, which it was an honor to be asked. And that's pretty much how it went. And from then on, they let the gate out, and we went out running. So we were doing events all over the place and trying to make these events as family oriented as possible. So a lot of the people that go to the events are either Facebook friends, or we hang out together, or they become part of RTL Paranormal and Flumery Promotions. And that's pretty much how RTL and I kind of started. And throughout the years, talent came and went. And now I have pretty much a new lineup. I also, with the exception of Mustafa Gadalari and Kristen Luman, pretty much a whole new lineup of talent that are eager to show everybody what they're made of and what they've learned and their passion and how much they love doing these events and meeting everybody. So I'm more. I haven't been this excited to start a year for a long time now. So I'm really excited, and that's how I met the guys from Forgotten Explorations. They asked for permission to do a private investigation at a location that we, RTL Paranormal and Flumery, hold dearly to our hearts. We love it. So we kind of babysat Forgotten Explorations, for lack of a better term, because I wanted to make sure that nobody disrespected the location. And when I got there and met everybody, I was highly surprised in a pleasant way, in a happy way, because they're a lot like RTL Paranormal. They are respectful. They're passionate about what they're doing. They're eager to learn. They want to showcase what they learned and teach people the things that they've been doing since they started. And we just automatically fell in love with them. And it's funny because the more we hang out with them and the more we talk with them, the closer we get. I mean, we had the boys over at my apartment, a couple of months ago, just to enjoy ourselves. And wait, that didn't sound right, but you know what I mean.
Oh, we enjoyed ourselves.
Yeah. And on that amazing segue, let's kick it over to you guys. Let's kick it over to Austin and AG and Jacob. Tell me, how did this get started with you guys? What is Forgotten Explorations?
It's actually really funny that we get to tell this, because today I actually edited something for a new project we're working on next year. I shared it with Ray. And basically we started in 2019. That's when we actually like got together. It was actually myself, Jacob, and then two of our other friends from high school. We didn't even start in the paranormal like area. We were exploring abandoned buildings, like urban explorers, stuff like that. And then we almost got caught a little too close.
Oops.
And we were like, yep, no more of that. So in the beginning of 2020, we were like, okay, well, we've always been kind of interested in this field, the paranormal field. So let's go ahead and kind of transition over to that, see what we can do there. And when we did one investigation. It was myself and one of the other group members. COVID hit a week later.
Yes.
Everything got shut down. And we tried to do stuff throughout the year. Everything kept getting canceled. Places were shutting down. Whole cities were shutting down. And then 2021, I think we did, I want to say 4 or 5 investigations, Jacob.
Yeah, I think it was about 5 because we did what was Lafayette.
Yeah.
Croft. Yeah, so 5. It was 5.
And we did that, but towards the end of the year, both of our friends decided to go to a different path. So, it was just Jacob and I. And we had this really big investigation at Bacon's Castle coming up. So I worked with AG, and I kind of asked AG to just join in. And he was just joining to kind of run the camera and everything like that. And we did the Bacon's Castle thing. We ended up doing the Cavalier Hotel in Virginia Beach.
I know that
and
place.
Then 2022 came around. And February of 2022, we did the Haunted Heyman House, and then we just kind of kept going. And we picked up Wheeler, Jacob Wheeler, who's in the chat, is also part of it. He's unfortunately at work tonight.
Hi, Jacob Wheeler. We miss you.
Always.
Oh, yeah. We picked up Wheeler, the investigation before we met Ray and the Flumery family. And ever since then, we've just been kind of coming out.
I would certainly say so. I'd play that song that goes, I'm coming out. So before HE, I want to come over to you because as Austin said, he kind of grabbed you to run the cameras. So what was that moment in which you realized you were exactly where you were supposed to be?
So the moment was probably at Bacon's Castle, which we thankfully I captured on our channel and everything. Mm-hmm. But we had one of our Flux devices, which is pretty much just a motion sensor, and it went off in a room where nobody was in. And after seeing that, I was pretty much like immediately hooked. The goosebumps start running, eyes start watering. Which is cool because, like he said, he just kind of asked me to do it. And before that, I looked at his YouTube channel, blah, blah, blah. And then there was this one video where they actually caught a full apparition. So after seeing that was another reason for me to join, because I wasn't saying, that they were faking anything or, stuff like that. But when you're, I guess, new to the paranormal, you're obviously skeptical, debunk, whatever, blah, blah, blah. So, yeah, I ended up saying yes. And then, like you said, the Bacon's Castle was like the first, our first investigation where I was like, yeah, I'm fine with doing this, every weekend if you guys are.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, and just so anybody wants to know, Bacon's Castle is a really cool historic site in Surrey County, Virginia, and it is not called Bacon's Castle because they make bacon there. Sorry, Ray. Ray was just, I know.
I got there and I
Also-
was very underwhelmed.
Yeah, but it is one of the oldest buildings in Virginia. So it's got a history that dates all the way back to the 1600s. And it was named for Nathaniel Bacon, who was Bacon's Rebellion. Yay!
Yeah.
And
it was
also, yeah,
great. It was a great experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
it's a cool site, and also administered by Preservation Virginia. In fact, there's quite a few sites that RTL and you guys especially have been going to, which are run by these really hardcore historical organizations. So how do you have that conversation? And I'm opening this up to all of you. How do you have that conversation with historic sites on being a paranormal team and what you can bring to them in terms of investigations and help?
And you guys want to go?
I'm gonna let Ray start this one.
All right, Ray, go for it.
It's easy, an email.
Email. Okay.
You send emails throughout the. If you want to go nationwide, you throw out tons of emails to hit that one or two. One or two people will eventually respond to you.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
And they're interested because the history. They want to see if we can back up the claims of it being haunted or not. But unfortunately, nowadays, because of COVID, and even prior to COVID, a lot of these historical locations used to, if they still do now, I don't know, but they used to get government funds. But because of COVID, not only did they either not get any or significant less amount of money from the funds, they're struggling. And then when COVID hit and everything closed, it wasn't making any money. Like the employees and everything were stay at home. I mean, like everybody. So nowadays, post COVID, a lot of these historical locations are interested in not only generating some money back into the locations, but they enjoy seeing if we're able to verify the claims there, and also to kind of take the history of the location and the data that we collect and see if we can hit something that is truthful. And the more we do that, not just me, but like investigators and paranormal groups, that's how you build a relationship with these places. So once you get your foot in the door and you show them what you have to offer to the table, and you do it in a respectful way, they're going to want you to come back. So it's always about respect. The way you talk to people, the way you keep yourself grounded, the more chances you're going to get repeat opportunities to do these events at historical locations. Like, for example, in Virginia, in Smithfield, Virginia, a very historic place. I work with the Smithfield historical people down there, especially Jennifer Williams from Isle of Wight Museum. I've been doing stuff with her since 2009, and we're gonna do more events with her this new year coming up. But
that's exciting.
So yeah, you build a reputation. You are lucky enough and privileged enough to get your foot in the door with some of these places, and then once you get your foot in the door, you have to show them why your foot is in that door. You have to show them why they should consider you, because just like every other state, there's 50 million paranormal groups out there. So what is it about your group that's going to, what's different from your group? And I'm not saying ours is better or worse or whatever, or everybody else is better or worse, but
That's good.
the way I was brought up, you guys can tell from the events that you guys go to, or the people that we do, I don't want to say business, but the way we do, the people that we do business with, such as the historical locations, they can see that we kind of mean what we say about respect and loyalty and being a part of a family, because in my opinion we are. And
There you go.
and the more you build a family, more people get added onto your family or your circle. Whether your circle be a small circle of friends or paranormal groups or investigators, or the whole paranormal community. So I take great pride in knowing that 99.9% of the time, the words that come out of my mouth, I try really hard to back up. So, and
Jacob, you're perfectly fine, just so you know.
I think it scared him more than anything.
Yeah, just saw the light out of nowhere.
I wanted to also say, Jacob, you were sitting like for the longest time in this darkness, like you were on a found footage film or something. Jacob, why don't you tell us a little bit about your feelings with the paranormal? What have you been up to?
Basically, when I was a little kid, I could like see figures and like physically tell what they are or who they were. And my old house I used to live in, used to be a little girl, a woman, a buff man, which never lived in the house, and then another man that I know who it was. And he'd always like watch me when I was asleep, and then TVs would turn on that are not even plugged up into the wall. The radios would go off. Stuff would be crawling on the floor in the middle of the night. You could see it. The mist coming out from under beds. Like it was pretty haunted. And then kind of told like God I didn't want it anymore because I kept seeing it constantly. So as I grew up, I started like losing, like I knew stuff was there. Now I don't. And then Austin and me started like doing small stuff at his house that he grew up in and the house I grew up in. And then we were like, you know what, I think we might be able to do this because we're older. We're not as scared as we once was. And then we started the group, and now we love doing it.
There you go. Austin, why don't you give us a general layout of the show? What can people expect when they watch Forgotten Explorations?
So every episode that we do, we always start off with the history portion. Mm-hmm. Now, when we do the history portion, we don't do it until after we filmed. That way we don't go in there with any sort of knowledge. Like, we'll know the basic stuff, like, what's the name of the person who's supposedly there, stuff like that.
Yeah, when the place was built. Blah, blah, blah.
Okay, but we typically go in there trying to clean slate, go in blind, not do anything. So we start off with the history portion. We go through a whole run through of the building. That way we know where we should focus more than others. And we go off, we do the investigation, and now something new that we've kind of implemented in the last few episodes that we filmed is Jacob's journey, which is Jacob being isolated from the rest of the group for about 15 to 20 minutes.
There's always one.
Oh yeah. And Ray, if you want to, Ray, you can tell her how Jacob's journey went on the USS North Carolina.
I would actually like to know. I've been on the North Carolina.
That was one of the funniest.
Oh my God, girl, let me tell you.
It's an exclusive. Let's do this.
So they blindfold this guy, and we walk up
In the
to
ship. In the
Oh,
ship.
now. Keep in mind, we got to go through little entryways and down these ladders, and don't let my petite body fool you. It's kind of rough, but imagine being blindfolded. So we stick him somewhere in the battleship, blindfolded.
Oh my God.
And then once we put him there, he has a certain amount of time so we can go back to where we were to take the blindfold off, and he's got to find his way back by himself. And he don't like with no lights, no.
All he had was a night vision camera. That was the only light source that he had.
So luckily for him, he knew exactly where he was on the battleship. Oh, spoiler.
Oh no, it's all
Yeah,
good.
you're going. Yeah,
But he came back to base camp pretty quick. Aw.
Thank you, Preston.
So yeah, those are some of the things you're going to see on these episodes of Forgotten Explorations, and I can't wait for them to talk more. But in the meantime,
I cannot wait.
while they're talking, the bartender's telling me they got the food buffet out, so I'll be right back.
Oh, Lord. The buffet. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, my son Preston. Hello. Okay. According to Christy Ayers, that sounds like something she would do. And it sounds like a good time to her. Jacob, how were you feeling about all this?
Honestly,
How did you draw before it?
I was fine until Austin forgot to give me the night vision. So I was standing there and was like, wait, I don't even have the camera, so I have no light now. Then I hear Austin coming back. So he runs to me. He hands me the camera, turns it on, tells me I'm good, blah, blah, blah. And he turns around and runs, and I can hear him leave. So I was like, okay. So as soon as I heard him run out of hearing, I heard something run at me. And I heard it stopped right by the door I was at because there was a grate that made a pop noise. Well, it popped. I ripped the blindfold off, threw light on and everything because I was like, nah, there's something else just ran up on me because there's nobody down here.
Yeah.
And so I started like 3 minutes earlier than what I was supposed to. But it was an interesting little time. It was pretty interesting.
Yeah. I'll say
I won't like spoil like everything that happened, but it was pretty wild.
I mean, we're gonna investigate an area where it's just gonna be.
That's on my bucket list. I want to go somewhere super, super scary, like super.
Oh, really? Okay, Ray, did you hear that? They want to go someplace really, really scary.
I want to go somewhere that might.
Brandon, I'm sorry. I want to direct your attention to the chat for a moment. Mario has stated, I read an article recently suggesting that sometimes it's better to have foreknowledge of the location to better pose questions relevant to its history, which may get a better response from spirit. So,
definitely.
Some places, I understand that.
Yeah, well, that's what I was kind of saying earlier, where we get, at least the name, the year,
of the people
we don't look into more haunted history rather than like historical history. Like we don't like seeing what other groups have gotten.
Right. That makes sense.
That way we can kind of at a later time compare. And we've gotten like some crazy stuff, like the Heyman House.
Heyman House is the top.
Or I think the craziest one, in the sense like everyone can kind of go there and stuff. Blah blah blah. Is the hospital in College Hill?
Yeah, that's another one.
Yeah,
because if you like watch little bits of our video, and then you go to the public event that they have going on there. I mean, we've done 2 public events there. Or
we
just
did one public event, but it was for 2 nights.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that was right. Yeah. But that event and months before, we were getting some of the same, answers through spirit boxes and stuff like that. So it's just cool that, we can go in there, investigate, and then like Ray and everyone was saying, other people can come here and experience, and they, sometimes we'll get the same stuff that, everyone else is getting, and minds are just being blown and everything.
To To answer that guy that was asking about whether or not you want to know about the history or whatever, it depends on the person investigating. A lot of people don't like knowing, and they want to go into a location and just see what they get, which is fine. Other people need to know the history so they can collaborate what they get there. The way I do private investigations with RTL Paranormal is it's a need to know basis, because we do have sensitives in our group who don't want to know the history. So I don't, unless it's someplace that we've been many of times, already know the history. But if we go to a new location, I don't put information out there for them to see. So only a selected few know what exactly is going on, or if it's been investigated before, what the claims are. That way, if they do capture some, or they do get their juju working a little bit, and they get a vibe or a feel, go through my notes and my history. I can go through my notes and history of the location, and I can verify it with what we have already on research. So
cool. I actually have a comment from Christy Ayers, who says, "Hey Ray, tell them about Hotel Josephine."
Well, I myself have not been there yet, but I heard that place is the bee's knees. It's in Kansas. I've had a couple of events there with Mustafa and Daryl as well, and they can't stop talking about the place. The place is awesome. And if you go to their website, the Josephine Hotel website, you can see all the different types of events they got going on. One of them I would love to go to is the guitars from No, that's not the name of the group. Ice Nine.
Yeah, I kind of figured.
Ice Nine Kills is going to be there investigating, so I am like dying to do that one. And not only that, the person who runs the event, runs the Josephine Hotel, Christy Ayers, she is one amazing person. She is an awesome friend, and she's fucking funny. And
all right.
Oh, is this? Oh, yeah. Community standards. Sorry.
Oh boy. Okay. Yeah.
Sorry, I don't do community standards. But she's hilarious. She's hilarious, but she has a passion for not only for the paranormal, but she absolutely loves the Josephine Hotel. So definitely get on their website and book yourself a private investigation or an event there. And from what I understand, the Buffalo Room at the Josephine Hotel is the one room that you must investigate. I heard that one is probably the most active in the whole building.
Okay. Thank you so much. And Christy, we're glad to have you here. Maybe we can talk more another time about that. So Rachel Bradley says that the Estes session that she had on the battleship between her and Wheeler was pretty amazing. So
the battleship Estes experiment was insane, because I got to watch that, and I don't want to say too much, but it was pretty cool to watch. And then when I wandered off on myself, that's when I had my own personal experience that was caught on video, which will be on their episode of Forgotten Explorations too. But I'm telling you, you guys need to get on their YouTube channel and watch these shows. These are great.
And we'll make sure we'll have a link to that in the show notes. So I'm going to kind of go around the screen here, and I'm going to start with you, Jacob, down here at the bottom below me. Jacob, most profound moment in most profound location.
Mine's pretty much the Heyman house. AG's probably going to say the same thing, but the Heyman house, there's two different things that happened there, but I'll tell one that we didn't get on camera. So they just stopped like talking to us. They wouldn't talk to us anymore, and we were like, "Is it because you're on film or what's going on? Are you tired? We'll leave you alone. We'll go to bed, and then thank you. We'll stop everything."
This was our second night, by the way. Our last night.
Second, yeah, and they go, "Yeah, we're tired. We don't want to be on camera anymore. I think we're done." We were like, "Okay, well, we'll turn everything off, and then we could still talk if you want." And then 2 or 3 people came through the spirit box and was like, "Yeah, that's okay with us." And so we were like, "Okay." So we turned everything off. We sat on the couch. Well, they go, "You're not done." And we all three look at each other and go, "What are they talking about? We have nothing else on." And they go, "Window." And we were like, "What's at the window that's running?" We had a EVP that was on for 2 days, and we forgot it was there, and they knew it was there.
Oh, okay.
And they told us to turn it off, and it was pretty nuts. That it was mind blowing.
Yeah.
And then listening to 2 days worth of audio
Yeah,
must
yeah,
have also
that's
my job too. Yeah, and I'm deaf, so it's kind of like a double standard thing. So they make me just sit there with headphones.
Oh my gosh. Austin, your most profound experience and or your most profound location?
I want to say this was Wheeler's first investigation that he went on. Like, first ever investigation. This was the night that we asked him to join Forgotten Explorations. Him and I were at the cabin on 360, which is in Mechanicsville, Virginia.
Yep, I know that place.
We are sitting here. Just got done eating Zaxby's. My stomach doesn't do so well with fried foods. So Jacob's doesn't either. So Jacob was using the bathroom in the cabin. So I go to the old rancher that was on the property. I didn't want to go by myself because I was pretty scared. And Wheeler was like, "All right, that's fine. I'll go with you." Well, we go there, and he goes, "Yeah, this basement door is wide open." Now, the basement door on the property, it's actually 2 different doors. So you have to close one on the inside and then close one on the outside. Well, both of them were wide open. And I go and I close both doors, and I close it and I latched it. And as soon as I closed it and latched it, I turned and looked at Wheeler and I was like, "Yeah, there's no way." And as I'm saying this, it went from looking like it is right now in my room to maybe like 9 o'clock at night. Like darkness hit like that. And, I try to be a big man. And I was like, "You're not going to scare us. We're still here, blah, blah, blah." Well, something started coming up the stairs, and I heard it running up the stairs. And that's when Wheeler and I looked at each other and we were like, "We're out." We found out from the property owner he had the same thing happen to him before we even told our experience. So that just solidified it for me.
Wow. That's amazing. AG, what about you?
I was gonna say, so location-wise, like Jacob said earlier, mine's probably have to be the Heyman house, specifically the first night, right?
Yeah, it's the first.
Yeah, which is why I think it was so wild. But long story short, it's just us three in this house for 2 nights. We have Austin doing a Estes method in I don't remember the name of the room. It was the
blue room.
Yeah, I think so. So he's in
Damon's room, whatever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So he's doing an Estes in that room. Jacob and I are in the couch in the hallway, just asking questions, seeing what we can get. And as we're sitting there, Jacob and I both hear something sounding like either high heels or dress shoes. It was click clack, click clack, just straight up walking above us on the floor. And the second it hits the stairs, I hear like a deep growl, and I look over at Jacob and I asked him if that was his stomach because it wasn't mine that just made that noise. And then he said it wasn't his either. So instantly in that moment, we started thinking, the worst. The high heels went from like high heels dress shoes to like goat hooves, in our minds and stuff. Yeah, so we freaked out. I went and grabbed Austin. We all go downstairs. We're taking a breather, and the next thing you know, we look up at the house and the whole power cuts off. The whole street, the whole block. Yeah, so I'm just looking at this house that I'm pretty sure I just heard something growl at me, and it's just pitch black. And we're about to, walk back in there. And then I jumped off the porch. I don't think I said that, did I?
No.
He didn't jump
no.
off the porch. He like dolphin dove off the porch.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
So he didn't land on his feet. He landed like he has
You didn't get hurt.
Oh,
He got hurt.
I did. He got hurt. But I'm fine now. And I was fine
the moment he wasn't.
Nah, he went about 20 feet.
Yeah, I needed a good 3-4 minutes, but
there's mannequins all over this house, by the way, like life-size mannequins, realistic looking.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
because it's a museum and they're showing period clothing on it.
She said she put them in there just to scare people.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yep.
Works for me. It worked.
I did.
The one upstairs got me the most.
Oh yeah, especially when you're doing your first run around
Yeah,
of the location.
Yeah.
You just peek your head in real quick and then you see it.
You're just standing there.
It's like,
yeah,
wasn't expecting that there.
Yeah, expect the unexpected. Ray, your turn.
Huh.
Uh-oh.
Oh, I gotta get a drink. I don't have one. Sorry.
That's fine. We're good.
So what was my most memorable experience?
Yeah. Out of so many, I'm sure.
I would have to say the first time I saw a dark shadow. Well, actually, no. The first time I saw an apparition. We did a private residence in New Jersey, and in Deptford, New Jersey, and nothing really significant happened in this place. It's a very historic home. It's actually it's owned privately, and so nothing happened that night. So I'm packing my paracrap and putting it in the car. So the way it's set up is you go down the steps from the bedrooms through the living room, and in the dining room section, it's kind of like a wraparound. You go through the dining room into the kitchen, you make a left, go through the kitchen, and you end up in the laundry room where the door is, where we had all our cars parked. So this is about 9 o'clock in the morning. I made a few trips to put stuff in the car, and as I was going through that door to go outside to the driveway, I saw out of the corner of my eye a gentleman standing there with his arms clasped in front of him, kind of like a doorman would do, and just standing there. And I looked real quick, and it wasn't there, and it happened like 2 more times while I was packing, and that was one of my favorite times. The two incidences that I've experienced where I was like, I don't want to do this anymore, was an event.
Yeah, I think we've all had those.
The event I did at Old Park Hospital on June 25th. It was an event run by Paranormal Explorations of America. And I've never done a human pendulum before, but I participated in it, and I don't remember a whole lot of it. From what I've gathered from people, my eyes dilated and changed colors, and I wasn't responding to anything. So they tried to take me outside to cleanse me and cool me off. And while they were taking me through the front door, all the way down, I kept like falling down, is what they said. And a similar incident happened at an historical location in Goochland with Forgotten Explorations.
Oh,
Where,
Yeah, it was.
First night ever meeting this man, by the way.
Yeah.
I think I
Hi,
remember
how you
this.
doing?
Yeah, I remember this.
But they were telling me that they did an Estes experiment. I remember Austin sitting down. I remember him starting the Estes experiment. But I guess at the end of it, oh, by the way, thanks. Everybody left the building and be there.
Yeah.
And
Well, I didn't know you at the time, and I was like, oh, he's just gonna stay here. He's gonna chill for a little bit longer.
Yeah, he's gonna do his thing.
Oh
So
no.
everybody's
I was scared after the fact. I was like, I was alone in this room by myself with him. Anything could have happened. I could have
Yes.
been thrown out.
Oh my god.
that could be taken way out of context. But anyway,
So based on that, here's a question. I want to go back to you, Jacob, real quick. Mario asked if you caught anything on that digital recorder you left in the window for 2 days.
When we first laid it down, we got high, and then during the time it was on, we got devices going off when we weren't there, walking going on when we weren't there. We got somebody mumbled something, but we couldn't know what it was, so we just didn't put it in. And then we got goodbye when we finally turned it off and was listening. We got goodbye on it. But
Great.
other than that, that was, I think, the only thing I can remember right
Also,
now offhand.
also our audio that night.
Oh, and
like,
it caught the growl as well.
Reason.
Oh,
Oh,
it did.
yeah.
And
It
a
did.
lot of weird like
Yeah.
corruption stuff was happening to our
Yeah.
files and stuff.
Yeah.
So.
Interesting. And that actually brings, so after you gather the evidence, this is another question from Mario. What steps do you take after the investigation is complete? What happens next for you guys?
So I do all the editing.
I would say it's mostly Austin from here.
Yeah.
I'm trying to help him. You know, we're all trying to.
Yeah, we help him here and there,
but
but he does
So-
most of the.
Basically, I'll put this in the perspective for the old hospital on College Hill video that we did. I did all the research afterwards, and the main story for the old hospital on College Hill is Mose Blackburn. You know, he was thrown, he jumped, so forth, out of the 3rd-story window. And we spoke to Mose Blackburn during our stay there, and he told us Mark was the person that killed him, is what he said. Well, when I did the research after the investigation, found out from a newspaper clipping, the prosecutor for his case, his name was Mark. His first name was Mark. And I'm not throwing any like blame on anybody or anything like that. I'm not accusing anybody of murder. Don't want anybody coming after me saying I did. But it goes like, do the investigation, I do the research, we end up filming the history portion for our videos, then we go on with editing. After editing, that's when everybody else comes in. AG goes through it. He does he reviews the entire video, writes down timestamps for areas I need to bleep out for, you know, reasons. Explicit language happens a lot. You'd be surprised.
No.
Yeah.
We do that. Jacob reviews any EVPs that we take throughout the entire night. Wheeler is actually the one that does all of the history research, and then he
Go
records
Wheeler.
it, sends it to me. So everybody has their own job after the investigation, whether it's the editing, the reviewing, or the history talk, anything like that.
And I will definitely be sure to put everything up on Forgotten Explorations in our show notes so everybody can go check you guys out. And Austin, how can people find you?
We are on YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We're on everything.
OnlyFans.
It's in the process.
Don't tempt me, Ray. Don't tempt me.
I was gonna
I
say,
know where you live.
if
There can only be one.
there's demand, we'll
Haven
supply.
House had a little piece of the OnlyFans action.
Hey,
Oh,
there can only be one Ray Savino feats out there.
And so that's fabulous. And Ray, where can people find you?
Well, if you guys knock on my front door, I'll probably.
Probably
How about for the people that might be coming a little far and they're like, oh, how much money it takes me to buy a plane ticket to go knock on Ray Savino's door? What if I want to save money?
You can find. No comment. You can find me on Facebook, Ray Savino Facebook, RTL Paranormal, Flumery Promotions Facebook page, YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, lonelyfarmers.com, whatever.
Okay. Oh my God. Brandon, I apologize in advance.
Sorry, Brandon.
Oh my God.
This is why I don't do podcasts.
But thank you for consenting. You are very sweet. And guys, this has been an amazing show, and it's a true example of parafamily. So let's keep it running. I know I'll see you guys on Saturday at Magnolia Grange, Chesterfield.
Yes.
Before we you already plugged it. Never mind.
Well, I'll plug it again. RTL Paranormal and Forgotten Explorations are going to be in Chesterfield, Virginia on Saturday, December 10th at Magnolia Grange Plantation. All proceeds go to benefiting Chesterfield and Magnolia Grange. And anything else I need to say, Ray? I rhymed.
Yeah. Thank you for coming to the Para Unity podcast. We love you and have a good night.
Oh, thank you. And on that wonderful, happy note, if you guys want to come on the Para Unity podcast, you can contact us through Gmail or through Facebook. If you are interested in in going on the show too, just go on our Apple Podcast and leave us a review or leave us 5 stars, because all of that feedback helps us make the show better. And if you like the show, tell a friend and tell some other spooky folks. It makes me happy.
Tell a wire, telegraph, telephone, tell a friend, whatever.
Or also check us out on Google. Check us out on Spotify. Check us out on all the major podcaster catchers, especially Alexa. You can even say, Alexa, play Para Unity podcast. I have got to tell you how excited we were when that happened. Also, if you want to help us out and buy us a cup of coffee, even though I know it's not a real cup of coffee, it still helps. Go on our website and click the link to buy us a cup of coffee. But in the meantime, on behalf of Brandon, I am Whitney, and thank you for joining us tonight on the Para Unity podcast, our show to bring our para family a little closer together. Good night, everybody. We will see you on the flip side, my dear friends.
All right, I got